And if you want to know how I'm painted, just stay tuned. And a warm welcome to Dizzy Finger.
So tubies, here we got our fellow separated into 3 pieces. The horse, the torso and the one side of the horse armor and the other side. And I will paint it in these 3 pieces for better handling. Blocking out the main colors. First, the bone in Ushabti bone. I will dry brush this model first a bit to block out all the bone parts. So, but I mean, it's a heavy dry brush. Here, back, and here down under, and here. And the same thing I do on the body as well. And for the magic of the internet, I'll be back when this is done. So here we are back again. All the bone parts of this Dark Knight and his horse are painted with this rough dry brushing. So I got the effect that the recesses are black, and when I wash it in a while, it will get even darker in the recesses. So, as I've seen before, the main colors are the bone parts, then metal and rust effects, and this purple. So I think, because of the parts, I will pick the purple next. This is Xero's purple, and I'll pick my fine detail brush. Give it a shake. Oh, hit the camera. And now I put on the paint directly from the pot onto the model or the cloth parts. So I will take 2 layers, I think. So here, all of the cloth. Here there is some cloth, and the rider got cloth too here. So I will be back with the magic of the internet when this is done and all the purple parts are painted. So we see us in some seconds. So all the purple parts are blocked out here, as you see, and the next main color is a metal tone. And I pick, where I have it, I pick Lead Belcher for all the metal parts. Already got the fine detail brush ready. Give the color a good shake, as usual with metal colors, and then put the paint on the model. Here the horse got a bit of this face plate here. Nothing hard. Like girl painting, Alexandra says there's no mistake that can't be fixed. And she is right, because this is blocking out, the first blocking out of the colors. And you can go over and over the areas again. So that is nothing else like doing something, no magic or else. So then down here is a metal piece going straight through the mouth. I know it, cause here where I live I got some horses around the house, and this is the equipment, the standard equipment for riding, so I got a bit of knowledge of this. So here around, you know, my first painting video, I think I make mistakes on how to use my camera, but you should have a try too. It's not so easy to paint with a camera in front of you. So this is the horse's metal parts, and go further with the armor and here the skeleton rider. So I skip this and be back when this is done. Now the metal parts are painted, and there are some details like muscles and belts or the seat that will be painted now. The muscles, old muscles, are painted in tusk gore fur, and the belts and the leather parts are painted in Mournfang brown. Let's start with the muscles. So give it a shake, open the pot and start on the muscles. On this model there are only muscles here on the horse, here at the face, some old muscles, or a bit of flesh could be. The first time I painted muscles was on my Terrorgeist, and there I liked the color scheme with this dark tone. It looked like they're totally old and are nearly rotten away on the upper surface, but still can be bent. So painting all the stuff and being right back. Now all the belts are painted and the muscles are painted here on the horse, and we can use a wash now. But hold on, this is not a Bretonnian knight and all shiny. It is an undead warrior raised from the grave, and now the part begins that I like most on the skeletons, how I paint them. It's something like an aging part for the cloth and the metal parts. So first I pick the colors I need to age this model a bit, and this is first Red Oxide and Mournfang Brown. Now I need my medium dry brush, here, medium dry brush, and I think I start on the horse with Red Oxide. Take a bit on the paper towel, zip, 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 zip. So, and then the metal part, slightly dry brushed, that it got a little bit of brown shine and don't look so metally shiny. I think you could use a bronze metal tone for this, that you don't need to dry brush now, but the effect is not the same. And I like this one, so get a bit of this dry brush here and there on the metal parts. Zip, zip, zip. So, okay. Next, the cloth is aged too, and we start with the dry brush and the right side to get it on here. Don't have to be so correct and all fancy stuff, because this is the first part of the cloth aging. The cloth is also, as the metal, correctly aged after the wash. This is only the first part, so that it will look good when I apply the wash. So here, like it's trampled through mud, and you see it a bit. We'll see it better when it's washed. So this is on the horse, and here on the rider, also the metal parts, slightly dry brushed, like this. But at the rusty dots, here are some rust dots, can use more right on side to darken it up even more, like this, and get a good tone. So I dry brush the whole model with the right hand side and be back for the Morphank brown in just a second. Aging part 1 is done. All the parts are a bit darkened brown, and the horse is brown all around. So I take Morphank brown, as I said before, get a bit on my paper towel, and then I dry brush the places where here the armor is corroded. So we'll put this beside for a better focus, I hope. Here there's a corroded area. Block it out with a bit of this brown. Here in front is such an area too. And the chainmail here on the leg can be brushed a bit with this brown tone too, cause chainmail will rust too. I know it, cause I am a reenactor and my chainmail already rusts after I get an event down in the nature. And so this and there on the blade there's much rust. So you go all through the model, and then on the cloth get a dry brush on the linked part here between the purple and the brown. This will be first step that will be completed after the model is washed. Here maybe a bit heavier dry brush. on this part. Oh, here in front, to get a bit better color transition in the end. And I finish this and we'll be back when this is done. Now all the parts are aged here, and here this plate part is a bit more heavier aged, because this is a champion of the regiment, and I think this skeleton is the one that lived his unlife for the longest time. So you see here there is a bone coming out of the chainmail. This one will be painted after it is washed and brushed correctly. So this is the time for washing, but I see my Agrax Earthshade here is nearly empty, and I will get a new color pot tomorrow morning and continue this tutorial. And for the magic of the internet, you don't have to wait. Hello again, it is still today in the night, and I was in bed and I cannot sleep, all the time thinking what is wrong, and I know what is wrong. This tutorial went wrong cause I flipped out these both colors, the Rhinosite and the Mornfang Brown, at the aging of the cloth. Correct is the Rhinosite must be that all, and the Mornfang Brown only at the lower parts. So I will correct this right now before I go to bed again, cause this is a major mistake, I think. So here, color on the brush and dry brushing the surface where the Mornfang Brown is. And after that, dry brushing this down here. I will be back and show you this today, and then I go to bed. So we'll be back when I fixed it. Now all the colors and color transitions, even on the cloth, are corrected here. And also I painted here the little plant thingy on the shield to get a better clue how it could look like when it's done. And here the transition, the brushed transition on the horse, and I think I get a bit of this purple color back here while brushing it back when it's washed, and we see what we get tomorrow when I got the wash, and we see us then. Bye. Hello, back again. Here we are with our Skelly Rider, and now at the next day I will put on Agrax Earthshade with my wash brush, and to let it dry now I will put this texture color on the base, that it is dry when I need to paint it for basing when the model is ready. So I will put the texture color first. Put something here. Not too much. The basing is only little rocks and some grass tufts for this army, so it only had to look like gravel or something. So here in the front I leave something, some place clean of these stone thingies, so that I can place a grass tuft better. And the rest down here, I will get a transition between the rock and the base. I will give it a wash, leave it to dry, and be back when this is done and we can go further with highlighting. So now we are back, the model is washed, and now it's time for highlighting. First I will highlight is the bone parts with Ushabti bone, and after that some exposed spaces with padded witch flesh. It's a mix out of painting, like here in the face, where I can't dry brush anymore if I don't want to hit the other parts. And here the legs, or the legs of the horse, are dry brushed with my medium dry brush. And yeah, I will do this now and be right back when this is done. Now, after highlighting the bones, the next step is to highlight all the aging and rust parts. And for this I start with Rhinoxide for the cloth parts, to give it a bit more highlighting, maybe here on the horse. Get color on the towel and brush it a bit. Real slightly. We take much of the aging on the cloth back when we highlight the purple parts. So here, okay. Round on the other side, a bit like this. La la la. So you can get away the parts where the color pool too much, and they don't look so dark, more like a bit brown. So I think here on the horse it's okay. Now here on the riders' cloak, just a bit. Don't worry if you dry brush over the morphing brown from before. This one we will brush in the next step back again. So a bit like this. Next step, as I said, Mornfang brown. I think I don't need Rhinoxide again, so put it back on the colors. Brushing out the washing out the brush. Correct. Properly. Taking Mornfang brown, get a bit on the paper towel like before, and then get back on the cloaks and brush the parts that are more down here, like it's fresh mud. So I think this is okay here. Back here. Just to highlight the exposed areas, and the more you go down to the bottom of the cloth to get a look of dirt hanging on the cloth. So on the other side we do this too. So, la la la, la la la, brushing, 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 And as I said before and in the beginning of the video, this is my first real painting tutorial, and I think I make many mistakes on how to light the set and use the camera, or maybe you don't like my painting style, but it's okay for me, I think. At the first one, and for creative criticism, I would be very pleased. Don't hate me for the first video. Just say what I can improve for maybe the next one, if there is a next one, and I will do it. So, the cloth is highlighted with a dry brush, and now we go to the rust areas, and we brush them again to lighten them a bit up. In the front was one, and next, don't forget the chainmail down here, hanging in the dirt. It rusts also. So this part here on the other part, rust him up, rust him up. Don't be shy. If you age it too much, there is a step to get back the aging effect if you don't like it, if you think it's too much. And I think I do this also, take back a bit of the aging effects. So next part is the blade. A bit of brown, other side of the blade, bit here, and on the shield there was rust here. And brushing around the helmet and around a bit around the armor also, so it get an old look, like it's lightly rusted, but the rust don't attack the surface at all. And nearly direct on the pot. Get over the rust areas again to brighten them up even more. And don't forget the horse, cause there is metal too here on the faceplate, and I get a bit of rust here too. On this side. So, next step would be to get the brown a more rust effect, and for that I put back my Mornfang brown. Need it later for the belts to highlight them again. And now I take Skark brown here, give it a good shake, and brushing a bit on at the places where the rust is, so you get a bit like orange tone at the places. And rust is orange, I think. The most rust I've seen in real life is orange. And the chainmail is a bit rusted too here. Very important, don't hit the cloth now, because the cloth didn't rust, you know. There can be some spots where the cloth constantly laying around on rusted metal, where the rust looks like it had painted the cloth, but cloth don't rust, and I don't think it's look good. if there is too much cloth rusted. So here, corrosion and rust, and there corrosion and rust, and on the helmet, heavily rusted. Flip it around, the other side of the blade, and on the shield, nearly directly on the out of the color pod. And here in the back, you get rust also on the armor. So I think this is okay for now. And the next thing to do, I don't want to show you all the time I do this, because it's too boring, I think, is brushing the cloth here with Sarah's purple, and after that with Gene Stealer's purple. And with this step I take a bit of the aging effect here on the cloth on the horse back, because if you mount the body on the horse when it's painted, like come on, like this, as now you see there is no purple under the armor here and you don't see it, so I put it back a bit so it's looking a bit through. And I do this off camera and be right back when this is done. Now our fella is highlighted on the cloth, you see here. Here you see the lightest purple. And the next part is, before I paint the muscles and the plant stuff on the shield, I get back a bit of the aging, and for this I get lead belcher and brush a bit on the surfaces. I think the rust is rubbed away while the battle damage or the light hits good enough. So maybe the rust parts are rubbed off a bit. I hope you can see this good enough. Here and here. Oh, yes, this was off camera, I know. And here the horse armor is really dark, so slightly brushes it a bit up. Only a bit, not too much. As I said before, it's not a Bretonnian knight. It don't have to be shiny. Maybe on the chainmail do some one or two strokes too, so that the chain links deep inside are rusted and the exposed areas are not. A bit painting the chainmail here between the cloth parts. So. Okay, and don't forget the other part here. Oh, too much paint on the brush. Back. Just dry brushing here and there to get some light effects and get back the aging done before a bit. Here on the chainmail a bit, there, and on the armor as well. Here and here a bit to get highlighting on the helmet. And the same thing on the shield, get a bit of highlighting. Back here on the armor, on the back of the helmet a bit. Bit on the blade, because it's in use and the rest rubs off for every hit he gets with the blade. So, breastplate, and we're good to go. Next part are just some details. There is the belt painted Mournfang brown. There is the muscles a bit highlighted in tusk gore fur. And we do this now live, I think, so I don't switch off the camera. I must interrupt the session for the basing part also, so I think I can move on here and get in focus. Slightly highlighting the belt and the saddle. Not hard. You see, there is no big deal how I paint my leather straps. Just base color, washing it, and base color again, and we're good to go. I don't need so super fancy models, and remember, this one is an undead warrior. There will be no fancy colors when he lay months or years, ages in the ground. And I got some, for my reenactment hobby, I got some old leather straps for holding my scabbard in the past. They are so darkened that there's nearly one brown tone. Doesn't matter from where the light hits them. And I think it's okay for the models too. So these are all the brown areas. As I said, nothing fancy. Just to give a good overwatch on the model. Then the tusk gore fur for the muscle parts. Just a bit. Tiny little strokes on the exposed areas where maybe the light can hit. Here on the other side too. If you think it's not enough for the muscles, maybe after this tusk gore fur you can go over it with some Seraphim Sepia to give it a second wash. Maybe it looks good. Or I imagine maybe with a Thonian Camo shade you get a light greenish tone, and the muscles will maybe look more rotten. So muscles are okay, and we go to nearly the last step before basing on the shield of the rider. Here there is some plant stuff when he go out of grave with plant hanging around on the shield, and you ride with this. So first we get Castellan green. I paint this stuff in Castellan green before to get a view how it could look like. Very gently. And while I'm doing this, and when you hear this, I imagine you don't click away the video and it's not too boring for you. I wanna say hello and greetings to Alexandra from Girl Painting. she live maybe near my actual position. It's not too far, and maybe, girl painting, if you see this, I can challenge you for a game, battle report, filmed and uploaded on YouTube in the near future, cause I was in Warhammer 40k first, but now I learned about fantasy, and I'm hungry for the first good games, and why not in public? So, as I said, if you see this and you would like to challenge me or accept my challenge, then write me a comment or a PM. So here on the base, where the horse get better stability, is some grass too, and I will paint it in a green, light green, yellowish or whatever tone, let me guess, cause the grass tufts that would be glued on the base in the next step are greenish, yellowish, a bit dead, slightly light dead grass. So I must paint it the same way. And next step for highlighting a bit more is I think this Death World Forest color, straight out of the pot, no mixing, no adding water. I know much of you do this, but I don't like it too much. I like the pure colors more. So you wouldn't see me mixing colors so much, because GW got a so bright wide color range. I think there are colors for every model, and you don't really need to mix all the colors. I mean, if you want to paint super fancy models like Alexandra does, then you have to mix them. But I wanted to paint miniatures in a quick way, or in a real quick way, and still looking good. So, as I said, I don't mix colors too much. If you want to, just do it. I must say Alexandra does really, really nice jobs, paint jobs, and I'm proud. I would be proud if she does a battle report with me. So next part I do now is highlighting a bit more with Strachan green, mostly the leaves here and there. So and the higher you go with the colors, or the brightness of the colors, the quicker the steps are. Cause now, last highlight, I know this is more like a fancy way, too much highlights for me, normally. For the next highlight I take Ogryn Camo and just on some spots, here and there, hitting the leaves with a small amount of paint. And when you think, wow, I don't understand every word he says, excuse me, but like Alexandra often, I got a cold now too, and my voice fucks me up, but I want to paint and make this video, so you have to listen closely or shut the video down. It's your choice. So now all the plant stuff is ready, is done too. Wash out the brush, and then we see this a little on a close-up. I think it's okay. Maybe you like what you see here. The next thing I do off camera is glue him together and painting the base that I already hit with texture paint in ashen gray. I got it here. Leave it to dry, and when this is done I will be back and we go to the basic part. So see you soon. Our fella is now glued together and the base is painted in, what was it, ashen gray. And now I think I dry brush the base first with Dawn Stone, then Administratum Gray, and after that with Palette Witch Flesh. And between these parts I paint the little skull thing with the Chape de Bone, and with the last dry brushing the base with Palette Witch Flesh I dry brush the skull too. That is, get a bit of dry brushing. So now live for you. I dry brush the base, I dry brush the base. So it was good that the texture color was painted before, because I had to wait very long if I haven't used it. So the stone can get a bit heavier dry brush at first, nearly a wet brush. Back part here. Da, da, da. So I know dry brushing is not fancy and all of you know it, and some don't like it, others like it more. So I think I take the time to ask you, what do you have for tips and stuff you can tell me to improve this model a bit? As I said before, I don't want to paint super fancy models. I want to paint quick and easy, good looking models for the battlefield. And for these models, what tips do you have for me and for the rest of the community out there? And you can write a PM for me or leave a comment on this video or do a video response painting your own skeleton, whatever. Don't have to be a rider too, but something with bone and cloth, so that we can compare the both models to each other. So now this is the step with Administratum Gray. As said before, now it's more a slighter dry brush. Just a bit. Not too much. But not too less, because there will be a dry brush with Palette Witch Flesh too. Oh, the stone. Here, the back of the base. I hope I keep in camera focus, cause I look over the camera right to the model and not on the display. I mean, I got the display right in front of me, but painting while watching on the display I found a bit complicating. It's like you don't paint your own self when you watch it in the display, and yeah, I don't like it. So this step is also done. Close the color pot, pack it away, wash the dry brush, and now the little bone is painted with Ushabti bone. For that I take my fine detail brush, so I don't mess the dry brushing on the base. Give it a bit of color. Not too much, cause it's only something on the base and it should not steal the show from the model on the base. So just a bit here and there. Not too much color that it dry quick, cause this is nearly live and I don't want to bore around or bore you. I don't need the fine detail brush anymore, so I put it away. That it can't be damaged, maybe. The dry brush and the palette, which flash. Get a bit on my paper. Put the color away, cause I don't need so much of this. Then, slightly, really slightly, dry brushing the base. Oh, here in front that's a bit too much. But maybe there are some rocks that look more like white rocks. The white cliffs of, where was it? Where in Great Britain? You know what I mean. Was it Great Britain? Or was it Germany? Oh, what the fuck? I'm not good at geographics, so please forgive me for my senseless speaking while painting, because I'm not able for multitasking. I can only speak or paint. Forgive me. Forgive me, master. Or mistress? I don't know. Now I think the skull is dry enough. Get him a little brush too. Chop, chop, chop. So, here's something more. Okay. Highlight the edges of the stone a bit more, because there are sharp edges. Okay, so wash out the brush probably. Tap, tap, tap. Put it away, because I don't need to dry brushing anymore. And now I do something off camera. Nearly off camera. Here, these are the Midland grass tufts that I use for the front part. One great tuft. Then I paint the whole base with Nuln oil, and the base corners again with a clean brush with Ashen Grey. Then I get this whole model coat of purities here, and then I show you again the Entrasalt, how you could see it many minutes before in the intro of the video. So take some super glue and apply the grass tuft. We see us after basing, sealing and putting him to my showcase here. This skeleton rider looks like this. And you can write comments if you like what you see, if you like the tutorial, or the style of the tutorial, or anything you mean. But I think the model itself looks good, because it fits right into the rest of these skeletons maybe. I know I don't have much right now, but soon it will be more. So write comments, show the video to your friends, and we see us in the next tutorial. Your Dizzy Finger. Bye!